Hello and welcome to Tungsten Tales. My name is Mackenzie Cadman and this is the final day of the 44th Winmau World Masters here in Bridlington.
We're here to review the quarterfinals.
We are.
Ahead, and we got some fantastic looking games.
We have.
We've had lots of seeds out. Well, we've had some good games. So the first game is Mike McGeaney, and he's playing Martin Phillips. Now, McGeaney came through with a 94 average, strong. He's seemingly on paper, Martin Phillips, 83. He's going to walk this game, surely.
Mark played very well against Neil Duff yesterday, but Neil Duff really gave him a game, and it was good to see that 94 average from Mark. His scoring was on point. He's finished that 160 finish and the 180 in the last leg to really give him a bit of room.
That 180, that really brought him back. So the game was was closer than it looked.
Yeah.
But that 180 followed up was superb work, wasn't it?
I think the 25 that he'd left and the way he went about it, and that, like you say, that 180, that pinnacle moment in that game, just put Neil under pressure. And I know he replied with the 140, but that 180 at the last leg really secured that win for him. Really.
So we're saying we think McGeaney's got too much for Martin Phillips?
I think so, but going back to Martin's game, Martin did enough to get through. I think he has got one more gear to go up. Martin flew through the game. The three sets to nil. It was unbelievable.
Toon didn't really provide much competition, did he?
He didn't.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a very interesting game to see what happens. If Mark comes out and plays like he does, I think he gets the win.
So, will Martin's previous title, will that help him, do you think? Do you think or think Mark will be under slightly more pressure than Martin for that reason?
I think the experience is there with both players, not just Martin. They've played before. Both have won against each other. I see Mark personally going
Okay, so we'll go with Mark there. Then we've got James Hurrell versus Gabriel Clemens. Now, both had a similar average. We had, James was 81. A pretty ordinary game, mine, wasn't it, really?
It was a bit weird. Ross didn't really get going at all.
And we spoke to Ross on Friday, and Ross came in, he was bouncing,
Yeah.
he's been in 2 finals, he won the British Open, I believe, on the Friday.
He did, yeah.
He was in great form. And then we see him on stage, and we just see, really, what is a collapse? How can you explain that?
Like you say, we saw him beat Cameron Menez on the Sunday, and he did play really, really well. Ross did, and like you say, he came in, he was bubbling, he was bouncing about. He looked really looking forward to the Winmau World Masters. And last night we didn't really see Ross. I think he came off. He was complaining about his elbow. I don't know what had happened the day before, the night before. I don't know what's happened, but he just didn't seem to get going. It was a shame, really. And James, as much as he did well in the game, he didn't really have a lot to play against, and I'm hoping that we get to see the real James Hurrell next round. Yeah,
because Gabriel's played some good stuff. 85's a solid average.
It is.
It's good enough. Can he go up another gear?
I was sat downstairs watching his game, and there was 2 pinnacle moments for me where I thought, hang on a minute, we haven't seen this guy before, and he's not nervous, he's not bothered. He had a 140 checkout in an obscure way. He went 54, 32, and not a lot of people do that. And it caught us all by surprise. We're like, oh, okay, here we are.
It's a new way, yeah.
And then again, he had 140 left, and he went for the 54, hit a small 18, went for the bullseye, hit the bullseye, and then hit 42 to leave 24. And he just showed no nerves. He was really natural up on stage.
So like
and
he's on autopilot.
It was amazing.
Practice, yeah.
He played really, really well.
So Hurrell's going to have his hands full.
He is.
Who are you tipping for that one?
I'm going to go for the shock. I'm going to go for Gable Clemens to come out and play like he played yesterday. And his finishing and his set-up play was brilliant. I think James didn't have the best of games yesterday. The format of it, with Ross not playing well and the whole circumference of what happened, I think James will struggle to get into his rhythm because he didn't have the best game to play yesterday. He had no, but he's going to come out and play Clemens, and Clemens played really well. I think it's going to be a good game, but I think Clemens for the win for me.
Okay, good. Then we had Cameron Menzies, who's got to play Jim Williams. Now, Jim Williams faced the renaissance of Tony O'Shea, the crowd favourite. The music was on. Yeah. It was fantastic to see Tony back. The game started where it looked like Tony was just going to get blown away. Tony, like he always does, maybe a slow start, edged his way back in with some good darts. But eventually, it fizzled out into just a game of missed doubles, really.
Yeah. Tony played Scott to qualify for the last 16, and he went 2-0 down.
Scott Mitchell.
He played Scott Mitchell and he went 2-0 down, and it was a great game of darts. And here we go again. Jim went 2-0 up. Tony came back to 2-2, and we all thought, yeah, he's going to do it again. He's going to pull it out, and he had darts to go one leg up in the last set. But Jim, somehow pulls it out of the bag. And I think they've played each other 5 times now, Tony and Jim's won every single one. So there might be that little mental thing but it's such.
But I look at the game, and if we look at Jim's technique, his throw can range from extremely good to then slightly edgy, slightly leaning in, sort of gets forward, the back leg comes up a bit.
I think when you're watching the leading and winning Jim Williams, he's so comfortable, he's so calm, he feels like he's got it under control. But as soon as someone comes and has a go back, like Tony did, from 2-0 down in sets to come back to 2-2, and I think Jim went 1-0 up in the 3rd set, so he only needed 1 leg to win, and needed 1 more leg, but Tony come back to 2-2, and you could, like you say, you could see Jim just slipping down, his shoulder was dropping, and he was just edging it a bit too far.
We saw that with Jim in the World Trophy in Barry when he played Dean Reynolds. The same thing, got ahead, looked magnificent,
cruising, then kind
of fell off a cliff, didn't he? So how's that? How are we going to hold him instead of Cameron? How can we see
Cameron played Mark McGrath. He went 1-0 up. Mark brought us back to 1-1. They went 2-1 to Cameron, and he's doubling. He doubles yesterday. It was unbelievable. He had 70% on the doubles, and that's
70%.
That's what had the game.
I mean, top of the world's 50%.
Exactly.
I mean, 70% is outstanding.
I was talking to him after the game about how he used to love double 16. That was his favourite double. But ever since he's been playing these qualifying events, he's been getting on the stage. Tops has been his best friend, and last night he must have hit it 3 to 4 to 5 times back to back, and Mark couldn't do anything about it. He was setting himself up. Mark was sat in a double, and from Cameron, anything from the range of 32 to 96, I'm saying he's going to have 1 shot at double at least, because his setup plays good, and if he gets that 1 dart at a double, especially if it's tops, it's gone. He's going to win it.
So who do we fancy for that game then? Or who do you fancy?
Who do I fancy? I'm going to say Cameron.
Okay.
I'm also going to add the fact that Cameron's presence on stage makes a difference. He throws himself about when he wins a leg. He makes the other person know that he's there.
So he's got a big stage presence.
He likes the winning double. He loves to give it a bit of the oomph. And I think sometimes in the players' minds it gets them a tiny little bit, especially if, let's say Jim goes 1-0 up and 2-0 up. If Cameron starts getting those legs and starts punching the air and starts commanding the stage like he can, it's going to be a very good game to watch. For me, it's a difficult one. I'm going to go for Cameron.
So we've got Cameron just to squeeze through
just
there. Okay.
By 1 set.
Brilliant. And then the final game, we've got a Matt. This is the pick of the games, really.
For me.
We've got Christoph Rajatsky playing Glenn Durrant. Durrant averaged 99.38 yesterday. Christoph was 92, just around 92. So both clearly in great form. And I think you've got the inside that you feel Christoph's got the mind game side, we're saying? Or
I'll be honest, taking nothing away from Glenn yesterday, he was absolutely superb, 99 average. That's
breeze through, didn't he?
Really? But he had nothing to really challenge him. The young lad, Yuri, played well. But yeah, I think he had 5 darts to win the first leg, Yuri. You can't do that against Glenn. If you're going to get in front early. Glenn knows he's a quick.
Don't make a mistake.
Don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
Glenn is very much a front runner. If you can get a 2-set in front, you've really got to play well. But for me, this man, Christoph, I had a word with Glenn in the interview yesterday about the fact that he's playing the PDC, and Christoph is one of those players where he's awkward. He can play fast, he can play slow, he can slow it down, he's methodical, he goes different ways from different people for shots.
So he can frustrate you as a player.
He can frustrate players, and we saw it with Peter Wright in a European tour in the PDC a couple of months back, and he ended up beating Peter, but
so he's got bottle as well.
He doesn't back down. This is another thing. He doesn't back down, and he's very aware of what's going on stage. He's very clever, and his shots and his finishing is exceptional at times.
So as we were talking off air, you were back in a shock. Are you sticking by that prediction?
I will. It's so difficult because if Glenn gets in front, I can't see him losing. But I don't believe he's going to have an easy game. And I think if Christoph can get leg to leg with him, Glenn will slowly slow down and he'll break down. And I think Christoph, it's so hard. I love Glenn.
Do you think that who gets through from the 3 games above will affect the mindset of both players going into that game?
Not really, in my opinion.
Okay, so that won't affect it.
For me, Christoph has played the PDC European Tour. He's played so well. He's got to the semi-final, quarterfinals a number of times now. In the PDC.
It's not just a one-off.
He's got that stage presence. He knows what he's got to do on there to win. And
he had a good Lakeside, man. He performed at Lakeside.
He got to the quarterfinals at Lakeside.
He played very well at Lakeside.
First year as well. It's going to be an absolute cracker. everyone tune in for this one.
And I think if you looked at the draw, it's probably of the 8 players, it's the least one Glenn would want.
Exactly. I think so, because Glenn knows what he's done in the PDC. He knows his game plan. He knows what Christoph can do, and I think his preparation is key. He spoke to me again about his preparation before the tournament. His preparation is key. For every tournament he comes into.
You mentioned sleeping well, eating better.
Everything. He mentioned everything to me, and I think if Glenn's done his hard work, we all know that Glenn Durrant can turn up and blitz anybody. Anybody.
Yeah, he can live with
anybody in the world.
Yeah,
so
I agree with you.
I think it's going to be an absolute unbelievable game. I think Christoph could win it if it's tight, but if Glenn storms ahead, then we all know who's going to win.
So are you sticking with your pre-match upset?
You really want to get this out of me?
Come on, you've got to call a player.
I'll jump over the fence. Christoph to win for me.
Christoph to win. So a recap of that: we're looking at McGeaney, we're looking at Clemens, we're looking at Menzies, and we're looking at Rajatski.
Christoph,
we'll come back and
we'll have to come back and regret. We'll have to come back and
semi-finals.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant,
Simon. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Don't forget, you can watch all the games on Winmau TV and on Eurosport starting from 5 o'clock today. Thank you very much.